Guys, this one, in fact, it's not a guy's matter. Situ. The World Cup is going to Saudi Arabia, and the West is melting. Somebody, I saw a tweet. Somebody said FIFA is a disgrace.
Who said that?
Oh, some
so they shouldn't go.
Some British journalists.
So they shouldn't go.
Why is it that you go to Qatar, then you're going back to Saudi Arabia? All because
I would be going to Europe and come to
there's
Europe
an
and come to
explanation.
rubbish.
You see, these people are not informed. It's good you're watching Mallam Go podcast. You see, friends,
yes.
they have skipped 2030 and talking about 2034.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
In 2030, we are in Spain if you want to be in Europe.
Yes.
We are in Africa.
We are in Africa as well.
Yes.
We are in Portugal.
We are in Portugal, we are in Spain, we are in Africa.
Yes.
Now, Europe have sat there. FIFA have played an incredible politics on the whole world with the sport.
Super.
Because all your federations voted that. They agreed with FIFA that there would be no confederation who can consistently host a World Cup until it has gone round all confederations. And that was voted on. So in 2018, we were in Russia. In Europe.
Correct.
In 2022,
down to the West said it was a disgrace.
In 2022, but when we check the confederation, Russia is an European country.
Yes,
if you don't want them, let us know.
In
2022, we went to Qatar,
down to the say it was a disgrace.
Experience the best World Cup for any fan
said
ever.
It was a disgrace.
Oh, they are lying. They know. Even they don't know.
But they went.
But when I finish,
they went to take the gigs.
Oh, when I finish, I will tell you why it is so stupid that people would want us to go and play the World Cup in USA, Mexico, and Canada,
and not
play the World Cup also in Portugal, Spain, and Morocco,
and not
think that we have to play the World Cup only in Saudi Arabia. Look, what FIFA did was smart. It was sweet. So, have you realized that in 2030, FIFA have managed to drag South America into the World Cup?
Yeah.
Perfecto.
Now,
playing the opening matches in Argentina and Uruguay.
Yes, Argentina, yes. Then, when we have done that,
in 2030,
yes. To mark the centenary celebration of the World Cup, which started in 1930.
Yes.
So 2030, we play the opening matches.
So Paraguay, Uruguay, and Argentina have already qualified.
They've already qualified. But right now, what that has done is that 3 confederations have represented. Which means that having come to Asia in 2020,
we are going back.
2022, now Africa is out because there's Morocco in 2030. Europe is out because there's Portugal and Spain. South America are out because there is Uruguay. So right now, in 2034, when Saudi Arabia told FIFA that we don't want to go. In fact, Saudi Arabia wanted 2030.
Yes,
they wanted 2030.
They wanted 2030.
FIFA said relax.
And FIFA said, some way. You can't come back to Asia because of what they did. So leave it to us. Now, had FIFA not managed to find a way for Uruguay, Argentina, and Paraguay to be part of 2030, the bid would have been between Asia, Oceania, which is New Zealand, Australia. No, Australia is part of Asia. Australia is part of Asia.
They are part of.
They're part of Asia Confederation now.
No, for FIFA.
Yes, they are part of Asia Confederation. When it comes to the Confederation, they are part of. So it'll be New Zealand, Oceania, and then Asia and Australia, and then it would have also been South America. But UEFA and South America would have had a very loud shout. People love to go to South America for football. Europeans would have backed it. Even some Africans would have backed it. So UEFA dragged South America out, added them to 2030. So that in 2034, they can't bid. So there's no bid coming from New Zealand and Oceania, but there's a bid now coming from Asia. And Australia wanted to bid. In fact, by last year, Australia were preparing to bid. Then Australia pulled out. But you see, Saudi Arabia played a very smart politics on the Asian Federation. They are sorting them out. They are helping some of their teams and everything. And they are telling Australia that, look, even the other Asian federation are telling Australia, look, drop that bid. Let Saudi Arabia go unopposed. And then what FIFA will do then is to try and bring. So FIFA are going to try and bring the FIFA Club World Cup to Australia. FIFA will try and compensate them with that one. Already they gave them the Women's World Cup recently. Yes. So they played that politics with Australia and opened the gateway for Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia now are the sole hosts of the 48th Team World Cup.
The first.
now,
do that.
this is why it makes sense to do it
The
in Saudi
first
Arabia.
single nation to do that.
Now, for any Western European country that doesn't want us to go and host the World Cup in Saudi Arabia, but thinks that it's sensible to host it in the USA, Canada, and Mexico, and also go and do it in about 6 countries in 2030, but has a problem with only one country, is that you're a hypocrite, you are not honest, and you've been lying to us. Do you know the carbon prints that the world will generate in the period that we are preaching going green with the USA, Canada, and Mexico World Cup? Do you know?
A lot of flying.
Do you know the flights that will be carried through
those
the
countries,
air?
you can't even go there by
For
train.
people who are doing go green, holding conferences, the American pumping money into going green, Canada pumping money into going green, and one country is saying that you don't need to fly across Saudi Arabia.
Just come home.
Come and let's do the train. Come
Connect
and let's do the
everywhere.
subway.
We'll do a
Come
village,
and let's
a
make it
village.
simple.
You go here, you can walk.
When we went to Qatar,
You are in Qatar.
if we were serious about sustaining our environment, we would have told the whole world
That
that
was a template.
the best thing that happened to the world was the whole world converging in Qatar without burning fossil fuel.
Yes.
Yes.
So how is it that
That
we are
I
going
agree.
to? How is it that we are going to Saudi Arabia to host one country to host all of us? You have a problem, but you are happy that the whole world will be traveling between Uruguay, Paraguay, and going to Argentina, and going to Portugal, coming to Morocco, coming
Go
to
to
Spain,
Spain.
and also in the US one, from Spain, from US to Mexico,
To
from Mexico
Canada.
to Canada. How do you think we are stopping? Like you, the West, when you say one story about going green, you find reasons why we should go green. But when we have to go green and another country has to take the burden of getting us to go green, you think it's a
This is
problem?
convenient going green.
No,
Get
but
out.
Okay, that is on the environment.
argument.
How about human rights?
Yeah, the argument is on human rights, not
No, they choose and pick. Wait,
pick and
on the
choose.
matter of they pick and choose. On the matter of human rights,
No, the
West-
West point is that why is it that nobody's raising?
why is nobody
the
raising
environmental concerns?
on the US, and now they are
No
raising?
one has said it.
And hang on, when it comes to human rights, Saudi Arabia and Qatar and the Middle East, they've never come to handcuff people to come and work for them. You decide to go and work in their environment, and they are trying to do better. They are not perfect. They're trying to do better, but they are not
Yeah, the
forcing
fact that
people
you went
against
there
their
doesn't
will.
mean that they can cheat you
Hang on. So I'm building the point. You go there on your own
Willingly,
accord.
yes,
They are not capturing people.
yes.
When they
But
use,
there's free trade. You have freedom. You have rights.
I agree, and they're
Yes.
trying to do better. I'm not saying they are perfect. They're trying to do well, better. But it's going to take time. You can't force them
It's a
to
civilized society.
wait.
They cannot be trying to do better.
No,
They
it can.
must
It can.
do
No,
better.
it's not a must. It's a process.
It's a must.
Listen.
You have to treat people equally.
Oh, fence.
Treat
When they
people
were
well.
fence. When they were abolishing slave trade in the West, it didn't happen overnight.
Yes.
It happened over a period.
Yes.
They didn't just say we
but
are
we are in
stopped.
the 21st century.
Forget 21st century.
It's still human beings.
It's still
we are
human
dealing
beings. Listen. Let me finish my point. I'm saying that
Mhm.
the Western countries and their cities that were built, they were not built by them. They were built by people they forced to build. Right?
True.
And they built their cities with slaves. They didn't pay them anything. They didn't give them anything. They
Hello,
came to capture them.
America.
And they built their cities with slaves. Then when you were done building your cities with slaves, you said, oh, let's stop the slavery so that they can live with us and everything. No problem.
I don't
That is
even
a
think
good
they
thing.
willingly stopped it though. We fought
For it.
Mm.
Great. And it didn't stop overnight. Right now, culturally in the Middle East, there's a problem with migrant workers. It will not stop overnight. But when you check the records and statistics, it has been better since the awareness started raising. Since even in Qatar, when Qatar won the base to
I
host the
think the
World Cup.
argument is that those issues shouldn't exist in the first
No, you can't argue that. That argument is not. It's bollocks.
It's-
Otherwise, issues of racism shouldn't happen anywhere in the world. It should stop
There are
immediately.
problems everywhere.
So that is what I'm saying.
Mm.
But the Europeans will tell us they are working on getting racism out of their system. When you have been patient, the Middle East will also tell you we are working on giving better conditions to migrant workers. You can't tell them that because you're in the 21st century, it should eradicate it with a snap of the finger. Otherwise, issues of racism should also eradicate with a snap of the finger. I'm tired of the double standards. Every country has its own problems. Every country. In fact, the Middle East is safer. The Middle East, in terms of Saudi
No,
Arabia,
as for that one, it's not debatable.
it is safer than America.
Yes, fact.
If you
No,
go to Saudi Arabia,
that is a fact.
yes, and in human life, for tournaments like the World Cup, we want more peace than. But if you go to America, people are shooting guns and things. Have you heard somebody shooting guns in Saudi Arabia or Qatar?
They
No,
don't even steal
they don't even steal. You can leave your wallet there and you come and meet
in
it.
Saudi. Go and
So
steal
every
it.
country has its problem.
Go and
My
steal
point,
and see.
my point to wrap up is, don't pick the problem that exists in one country and blow it out of
Magnify.
proportion. When you yourself also have your problems and we've been able to accommodate yours and work with you, it is time for the Middle East to shine. Qatar showed the way. that the best World Cup in the history of the tournament could be hosted in the Arab world. Saudi will even do better. And when it comes to protecting the environment, which is, for me, my thing, when it comes to going green, saving the planet.
This is going to be a green World Cup.
This is going to be a green World Cup. Why should we go to USA? Why should we go to Canada? Why should we go to Mexico?
Colors anyway. Saudi Arabia.
It's a green. It's a green.
It's natural.
It's green.
It's a natural.
Green.
It's a natural.
2010, you remember every day you turn on your TV and you watch CNN.
There's
They are talking about
HIV,
crime,
yes,
crime
crime,
issue,
HIV, cholera,
crime.
diabetes, whatever.
Look at the level
Slums.
look at the level of gun violence in America.
Yeah.
The World Cup is
I'm
when,
genuinely afraid
but nobody's talking about
that
it.
there will be a big
there-
problem
there-
in
there's
But
America.
nobody's talking about
Currently,
it.
there is a case of one guy who's on trial for some mass shooting. I've forgotten the details. I don't know.
We are
the
afraid.
details.
Get plenty.
We are afraid,
every day.
but nobody's talking about
Double
it.
You
standards.
see, I saw
Let me give you
just
a
a
stat that will
quick
blow
point.
your mind.
Just a quick point on all that.
Oh, but we tramples everything. Well.
Oh, Trump is
Trump
Trump
all-
is
all that-
Trump will give the opening speech for the all right, bro.
You see, I agree 100% with what Sicho said. This human right issue. You see, when you are preaching something that you yourself don't practice, it becomes extremely difficult to convince any other person that whatever you are saying is the right. You see, the Western world, I don't know, they refuse to accept the basic fact that the world has changed
The world has changed. Power is shifting.
and power is shifting. Because at the end of the day, you want us to more or less do everything you say we should do. But you yourself, the very things that you are telling us to do, you are not doing. Me, because of LGBTQ thing, I will always go to Saudi Arabia.
Quick.
Because of what?
What is it?
LGBT.
Coach.
LGBTQ rubbish.
Quick.
I will always go to Saudi Arabia.
Then add art after the
And
Q.
it's so disgusting.
Mm.
The way this thing
They
is
said it's an
sweet.
issue of human
The way
rights.
what?
This thing is sweet.
Oh, the way
Yes.
what?
This thing is
Yes, and-
sweet.
and you see,
Oh,
friends,
the way what?
friends,
This thing
when they
is
say,
sweet.
when they
Oh
say,
my
when they
God.
say it's an issue of human rights,
Yes.
who truly determines what should be human rights in what sovereignty?
Where
The West can't determine what is human rights.
they
in
don't
South. No.
determine that.
Yeah, but you see, I think what is happening is that it's peer policing. All right.
Yeah.
So hold on. So it's peer policing. So it's important for the bigger nations, and I'm not just speaking about the West per se, but it's important for other nations to be able to hold other countries responsible for something that is universally agreed to
Accountable.
be a human right.
It should
That's
cut across.
Yes, that's why we have agencies like the UN
Exactly.
who define what human rights
But
are.
they've always been
it's
partial when
important
it
that-
comes to
it's
certain
important
people.
that, for example, if they say that everybody that maybe be the ability or being able to fend for your family or being able to work, it's a fundamental human right, and there is an environment where people are being denied the opportunity to work and take care of their families. Some other countries should be able, the UN should be able to tell you that what you're doing is wrong.
Of course.
Not in
Fine.
2024.
So I think,
Fine.
no, hold on. No, I said they should be able to tell you that what you're doing is wrong. That's why we hold each other. And that's why Nanado, our president, will go to Nigeria and go and condemn what the coup that's happening there. The country can just decide that what they're doing, they will not listen to anybody. But it doesn't mean that the others don't have a right to
comment.
say,
Agree.
to condemn.
Fine.
But you see, friends,
You get my issue.
We also need to be honest about the fact that
It's peer policing.
I get you, but we also need to be honest about the fact that some of these so-called backward or conservative countries are a bit more receptive than we give them credit.
Yeah.
That's the point I was going to make. Look,
when,
fine.
when we were in Qatar, there is this Guardian journalist also who is gay, who came to write something on Twitter that for the period that he was there, he didn't get into trouble. He didn't have any.
You
issues.
need to behave.
People-
If you behave, nobody
See,
cares
what
you do.
I get what you are saying, no, but what the US and the West want to see is tolerance for someone who is blatantly
Bring
misbehaving.
flags,
No, you
public
can't do
walk
that.
publicly naked.
Look,
And
yeah,
because you do that
we
in
get
your,
it.
in your
And you see-
country.
Yeah, no,
You
I agree
can't
with
do
that. I don't think that should be allowed.
You cannot do that.
We
You
need
see?
to. Well, the very people who are preaching human rights and all of that cannot turn a blind eye to the fact that what they are literally saying is that someone is going to behave in a manner that infringes on your
On
rights,
your beliefs.
on your privacy.
Yes.
And you don't
That
have the right
interferes with your
to.
privacy. And then you have look for me beyond all of that, purely from a cost or economic point of view, the World Cup in countries like Saudi Arabia and Qatar makes more sense for the average
Every
fan.
day. Every day.
Because
For
look,
the fun, yeah.
typically the World Cup is expensive. We get it.
Very, very
It is
expensive.
the biggest product, so it will be expensive. But FIFA needs to be mindful of the fact that the game is for the fans. You cannot build every other competition on the middle class, the average fan. They can afford it. They can go to the Champions League, CAF Champions League, AFCON. But then when it comes to the World Cup, it is a preserve or it is reserved for the bourgeois.
Let me just help
Right.
you here. Hosting the World Cup in USA, Canada, Mexico is a very stupid, expensive
It's too expensive.
venture.
Look,
You know,
What-
the,
Very,
you
very
know,
expensive.
you know the
When
Morocco
we
one is
even
better.
enjoy it.
Friends,
Because
when-
look,
when we're in
assuming,
Qatar-
I'm coming. Assuming
It's
your
an-
team
it's
plays
logistical
in
nightmare.
America, and then at the end of the round, they've been booted. Like their qualification will
Yeah.
mean that they don't
You
stay in
finish
America.
second, so you stay in
have
your
to go
city.
to Mexico.
Challenge to it.
How are you going to go
Even
there?
for,
Friends,
even
when we're
for
in Qatar-
travel's sake,
Yes, it's
for a
not the
fan
best.
or a journalist, are you securing 3 visas?
friends, when
You know
we're
how chaotic it is to
when
look for a
we're-
visa
when we're-
for one visa.
when we're in Qatar, having to move across cities, there was a shuttle
Oh,
system there
oh,
already for
Qatar.
you. There,
Continues.
and it was
Continues.
heavily subsidized. And for me, look,
Like,
it was great. I mean, the whole idea of the Olympic feel that the World Cup gave, that
Yeah.
you could literally find everywhere,
FIFA.
everyone everywhere. Look,
Maybe
and for
leave-
some people, just to
Go
conclude,
ahead.
for some people, they are going to experience the World Cup once in their lifetime.
Fuck all.
That experience is something you should not put too much monetary value on
No.
to the extent that you deprive most people
from
of,
experiencing it.
of that opportunity. Look, there are
Just to
going to,
conclude,
there are
How
going
is
to
it
be
even
people.
possible that you're going from Vancouver to Toronto, the same country,
you
by
imagine?
flight? It's
My
4
friend.
4 hours.
35 minutes.
can you just imagine this? Maybe in conclusion, I think when from Qatar, from
Saudi
Saudi,
Arabia.
they should come back to Africa. Look,
Africa will be invading.
we
Yeah.
we hosted.
No, you won't come to Africa because Morocco.
apart.
So you go to Europe.
No, it cannot go
No,
to
even
Europe.
Europe, you
It
can't
shouldn't go to Europe because it's Morocco. There are 2 European countries and 1
So
African
to go
country.
to South Africa.
No, they can't
It
go
will
there.
be, no, it will be
So-
an open bid.
They would
Yeah,
have to
open
break.
bid.
They would
And
have
I
to break
think
the
that-
I
down.
think
open
I
bid.
think you'll go to Australia.
Look, I think that
Perhaps.
if they look at,
Asia, still Asia.
we've hosted the World Cup as a continent only once, and the quality we presented to
But
the
now
world.
Morocco is taking it so
I'm
too.
telling you, Morocco has been used peripherally with Spain and then Portugal. I'm looking at
And they will get more.
how
games than
successful,
You are saying that they are prostituting their status.
how successful the World Cup was when we hosted it in South Africa.
Charlie, if
Look,
Which
Morocco,
other
Algeria,
African
Egypt.
country can
Can
do it?
host. That's the
look, we
And now
But
it's
I
not
think
8
we
teams,
don't
now
need
it's
to
not
If
8
I'm,
teams.
if I'm in your mind, I think you are thinking sub-Saharan here.
we
Right?
don't need to go one African country like we did.
Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana,
We
Nigeria.
can say Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Nigeria.
Forget Ghana.
We
Forget
can
Ghana.
say
You go use
Morocco.
Morocco, man.
Oh no, but we go
Oh,
build.
we go build.
Right.
Where Saudi go use? Where Saudi go use?
They have money.
But they
You
will
don't
build.
get money. You
So
relax.
no,
But that be
Right.
2042.
You
I-
drive on this road to
At the
Kumasi.
camp. Oh,
you-
Now,
have you
now
seen-
did you
Yo,
know when the money goes
have you
start
seen
coming?
the plan
Do you
for the
know
Olympics?
why I like what coach saying that for me sometimes I want us to have
Let's do it,
forced
but make Ghana
I want us to have
look
forced like
It helps
reasons to
improve our
develop.
infrastructure.
Of course.
Bro, if we have to host the World Cup in 2040 something, our subways will start.
Getting
Our road
better,
networks will
our
start.
train stage, our train.
Yeah, there will be minimum
There will be
requirements.
minimum
You have
requirements.
to
And
meet.
there are also examples of countries who were not ready, went ahead to do it, and they destroyed their economy. Look at Greece. Look at Greece and look at what the Olympics did.
No, what I'm saying is
We
that
are not
you see,
ready.
Not
not
necessarily Ghana.
We are not ready.
But what I'm saying that if you look in recent times, I think the only World Cup. I don't even think the Qatar World Cup was even better than
Look
what
at
we saw in
that.
Charlie, Qatar was-
Put that as that. From the African perspective, yes, Morocco did us proud on the field in Qatar, but we had good fun when the thing was hosted in South Africa.
You know why? Because Ghana
We
did
did
very
well.
well.
No,
So that plays a part.
Ghana did very well on the continent, but Ghana carried the whole of Africa. And
Yeah.
the whole of Africa.
Yeah, I agree.
Morocco did so well in Qatar. They carried all Africa. But the point I'm making is that Africa should be able to put in the bid after the Saudi bid
Yeah.
so that we can bring the thing
I
back
actually think
solely to Africa.
Eastern Africa can Tanzania, Rwanda, like if they want to.
Look, we can do
They are
8.
if they want to,
They're
they
doing
really,
that, of course.
they're doing
We'll
that.
see.
If they want to, they really
Yeah.
can push.
I think the issue of the human rights thing for me, like, what I would just say is that I think that a lot of it, well, not a lot of it, some of it is overblown. So, for example, the issue of, let's say, gay rights, right? Any gay person can go to Saudi Arabia
Easily.
and be there,
Don't go and
and then work normal. Nobody will harass you. I think what they want is that they have the same rights and the same freedom to be able to, let's say, do things like PDA, public display of affection.
It's not done.
I'm coming there. But what people forget is that even in a heterosexual relationship,
Yeah.
the Arabian culture
That's
frowns
not
about
On
that.
public display of affection.
What sort
You
of
understand?
nonsense is
So
that?
that's what people don't get. So, like, for example, the whole issue of alcohol consumption. I find it very problematic that a country says we don't do public consumption of alcohol. When you come, we can demarcate a place for you, like in your hotel or at the farm park. But in the stadium, which we consider a public place,
You can't be
consume
drinking
alcohol.
Bahat.
You are telling me that it is nonsense because you, as a human being, can't go 90 minutes without drinking.
Now let me chip
Why
in this.
being-
And that
Human.
is a problem.
So friends, let me chip in this. When they hosted their European competition, we saw it at Wembley. When people had taken so much alcohol, they went to
The
food.
Euros final.
The Euro final. They went to food because of alcohol. When they did the research, it was because most of them were intoxicated. When we went to Qatar, there was an incident-free competition.
Yep.
As human beings, won't you learn that they have shown, they've given you a proven record that when fans are sober, nobody will fool. If you go to the fan parks, as you said, people were drinking because it was demarcated.
after
But when you get to the stadium, you
If
can't
you-
booze
You
and
see,
go
they
there.
were selling 0% beer.
Here in the stadium.
And people were drinking 0% beer. They had the feel of the beer, except for the alcohol that would intoxicate them.
That's it.
And the games were going on.
And
Nobody
you-
was
you-
nowhere.
you-
No.
You could see clearly.
When they brought beers to the Euros, they couldn't hold them at the fully. So we saw fans clashing in the more recent Euros in Germany. Research was that these fans were intoxicated. They started drinking in the morning. The game was at night 6.
Oh God.
By 12 o'clock, they were done.
In fact, the funny thing was they set a cap on the alcohol percentage for the first 3 games. The moment they lifted the cap was when we saw the incidents, and they happened in bars.
Yeah.
So there was a direct relationship between
Yes.
the alcohol intake
Somebody
and the behavior.
booze and sleep, then you pour this thing
For your top.
You know
Yeah.
this.
But for the issue of human rights, yeah, I think Chicho made that point that they are working on it. And I
Yeah.
think they need to work fast.
The stats are there. They
Because
are
listen,
working.
I have
Thank
seen even recent videos just last week of the story that the Kenyan journalist Larry Madowo did about Kenyan migrant workers being heavily maltreated, being
That is
denied,
condemnable. We condemn that.
Yeah.
being denied opportunity to go home, being denied off
visas.
days, their passports being
That's
hidden,
terrible.
nobody being
Yeah.
allowed to go home, even if when you want to quit and go home. And those are the things we condemn. Like even when you quit,
That we
and say
highly
you want to
condemn.
go home,
And the people in Saudi, they should stop that
giving
nonsense.
But one thing that always stands out in a lot of these stories is that the conduits, the people who took them there are
The one doing
They
They
are
are
part of the
countrymen.
yes,
They are
thank
their
you.
countrymen.
Yes, you know,
It's
they
exactly
are the
what I
biggest
said.
accomplices.
Exactly what I said. You see, and
Me say, oh, the chairman,
look, all of us know the problems. You see, they are working on. They are not done yet. So why would you want to risk that? So be reasonable.
FIFA said,
But-
we are going there.
Oh, we'll be there.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll be there.
So that's that on the World
And we
Cup.
will be there.
We
Ah,
will be
we'll be
there.
And we will
And
be
we
there.
will be.
But on the most serious note,
49.
Charlie,
We'll be there.
We'll be there.
do you know that Charlie, now the World Cup is going to Saudi? Mr. Suman, he will cash out for the next 10 years.
Yes.
But you don't say my man.
Hey,
he won't play-
Ambassador
he won't play the
Ichi,
Portugal one.
you
He won't play, won't play.
He won't play the Portugal one.
He won't play.
2030.
In
Where
life,
you go play?
in life, you can't cheat nature.
He will
When the
play.
time comes, we will see.
But Ambassador,
But he doesn't want to play to cash out.
No, but he's
He will be in the squad 2030. We are
So
hosting.
he 30
He will
we
be
are
in the
hosting.
squad.
You play.
Ah,
First game.
that's it.